is Mask of the Rose from Failbetter Games. As you can see in the corner, this is a game set in the Fallen London universe, which contains Fallen London itself, sunless sea, and sunless skies. This is a romance mystery game, a visual novel, sort of, and I believe I shall start playing now. I have a previous attempt at recording a game, but let's start fresh. With a new game. Your first foray into Mask of the Rose is unlikely to end as happily as you might hope. Never mind. Savor your successes. Delight in your disasters. Try again, wiser. And I missed that part. In February 1862, with no warning at all, London fell through the surface of the earth. This was meant to be a year of progress in industry. The Great Exposition, trams, a new sewer system. Instead, we find ourselves dwelling in a cave. It's October now. The fires have been put out. The bodies have been buried. But the future remains unimaginable. The time before, impossibly distant. The past. Who were you? A dockworker's child. My father worked the docks, unloading ships. My uncle was a sailor. We were on the right side of the law, but the same couldn't always be said for our friends. The docks are allied with the working class and with criminals. A child of the gentry. My family had an estate on the surface. My father was a magistrate. All that is unreachable now, of course. I had the bad fortune to be in London during the fall, and now there is no going back. But I do have a few connections here. The landed gentry hobnob in high society and with the constabulary. A tailor. My family kept a tailoring shop with aspirations. We dressed our customers better than we dressed ourselves. Shopkeepers had contacts with society, but their own origins are more humble. They may also have some contacts among the artistically inclined. A housebreaker's child. You must complete the game in order to unlock its background for future playthroughs. An undertaker. Likewise must be completed to unlock. An arcane academic. Similar. Well, I believe that I am a dockworker's child. Down here, your name is whatever you say it is. Often, there's no one left to remember who you used to be. Some people hold tight to the names they carried before. Some reinvent themselves completely. I prefer strangers who address me as Monsieur, Madame, Mademoiselle, Miss, Madam, Sir, my lord, my lady, citizen, comrade, captain, lieutenant, doctor, professor, officer, secretary, brother, sister, reverend, intendant. You know, I like the ring of comrade, though my friends call me George. Yes, I think that suits me. That's me, George to my friends, comrade to strangers. Is it fading in? Is it doing anything? Okay, there we go. That's me, George to my friends, comrade to strangers. Wonder what I clicked. That's how I was addressed even before London. I was above. Down here, I'm finally able to use the name that always fit me. I think I'll be a different person down here. Now, let's pick a cameo. Choose the cameo that best represents you. Let's go with this one. In the Neath, a true ally means everything. When I find people to be close to, I am open to friendship, but no romantic emotions or physical intimacy. Friendship and physical intimacy, but no romantic emotions. Friendship and romantic emotions, but no physical intimacy. Whatever comes my way. Let's go with whatever comes. I'll be looking for both romantic feelings and a physical connection. Friendship and matchmaking are possible too, of course. Summary. Confirm your choices. Press Enter to change. Name and title. Comrade George. Past. A dock worker's child. Heart's desire. Passionate romance. Okay. Right now, I'm meant to be helping with the census, finding out who still lives in my neighborhood. The first census results are due tomorrow. If I turn them in, I get paid. The first money to come my way in nearly 2 months. If I don't, I'm going to disappoint Grace badly. She knew I was in trouble, so she went out of her way to help find me work with her own employers. She even gave me a badge to show my affiliation. Badge of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. The front of the badge looks almost like a constable's badge with a lion and unicorn blazoned on it. The back of the badge has some kind of symbol I don't recognize, hot to the touch. And there is our first bit of fallen London lore for those who recognize it. I keep it with the clothes I have from before the fall, and a few odd items I found more recently. Change my outfit. Outfit notes. Not a very sophisticated look. Not much of a look at all. I don't have a hat. Going bareheaded is a bit chilly in this cave. Face. Barefaced. Good for the complexion. Lapel. Without decoration. Where I'm going, I might not want to declare any particular affiliation. Badge of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. We've seen this one. Fake but vibrant corsage. The most obvious thing about this flower is that it is extremely fake. Perfect for going out on the town, boasting and gallivanting. Let's wear the badge if we're going to be out on business. Torso. Coatless. What I'm already wearing will do. Sailor's top. Brings all the merits of sailors. Contempt for landlubbers and toffs. Solidarity with one's own. And a rich vocabulary of insult and mockery. I look like I belong on the docks, and like I might speak my mind too much. The badge suggests I have more power than one would expect. Yes, I believe that will do. And here's Greece. Ah, I thought you were up here. She glances at the badge I'm wearing. I suppose I should be glad you're thinking about the census, even if you didn't get around to leaving the house. I react to that the way I react to many things these days. I turn it into a joke. I dare to name the frightening things out there. I lie. I think I'll be a joker. I thought I'd wait for a change in the weather. A lovely snow, perhaps. There's no sunshine down here. There are no yellow pea soup fogs. There's no rain, except occasionally a fine mist. Londoners lost half our topics of conversation when we fell. Come tomorrow evening, we need to have at least a few census forms filled out. Well, I'm going to be the one explaining to Mr. Pages. Ah, Mr. Pages. Or, as some call it, everyone's favorite husbando. Or waifu. There really needs to be a better term. And if that happens, I'm not going to help you with your employment prospects again. Reese works for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. It seems to agree with her. She wears trousers to work and comes home at all hours. It's very important to her, being taken seriously by these employers. The next thing I do is characteristic too. Compliment her, reassert control, be open and build trust, rely on dark humor. Let's be open. Sorry about that. To be frank, I didn't like the look of the city today. Too many dark alleys. I will see we have something to turn in. You still have some time tomorrow. She gives me a hard look, as though she could stuff some integrity into a person just by glaring hard enough. What do you think of the questions? They're written in the most peculiar spiked handwriting. and there are punctures in the paper in random spots. Demonstrate that I've already read them. Tease her, as though I think that's her handwriting. Jokingly defend my reading ability. The question about romance is peculiar. Perhaps. But it matters greatly to my employers. Whatever you do, you must not leave that one out. At this moment, a second visitor walks in. Archie is a medical student. He hadn't finished his training before the fall, but he has plenty of work now. Right after the fall, it was broken bones and cuts. Lately, there are fewer wounds and more diseases. I wondered where you were. Greet Archie flirtatiously. Ask Archie what he needs. Hello there, Archie. Couldn't wait to see me at supper, then. That wouldn't be why I'm here, I'm afraid. Grace laughs. Out I went this morning to visit a patient, and what do I find pasted up on the wall? He holds up a broadsheet. There's a new decree from the Ministry of Cartography and Chirography that all maps and atlases are to be surrendered or put on the fire. It's your folk making these rules, Grease. Promise Grease that we can be trusted with whatever she knows. Suggest Archie leave the topic alone. Stay well out of this. You can tell us. We're trustworthy. I'm even working for the Ministry. You have yet to actually do anything for the Ministry. I have the badge, and I've been trained. You'd be asking your Mr. Pages about these maps. The Ministry of Chirography and Cartography is new. I don't think that existed yesterday. Let her draw her own conclusions. Well, I'll see what I can find out about this, but it might take some time. George, please do collect at least a few census forms by tomorrow, from whatever Londoners you are able to find. At the end of the day, I'll find you, and we can take them to Mr. Page's together. New goal. Deliver a filled census form to Pages. And now, I'll leave the two of you alone. She leaves, grinning like a mad thing, while Archie just looks flustered. Flirt with Archie, turn the subject to the census, check on how he's feeling. How are you holding up? Worse than Grace, I will not lie. Seems there's no road out of here. Food from the masters that we deprive, but when you think of all the else that might kill us below, scurvy and the like. The great oak and rock fell in a house in Southwark, took the roof in and near to killed the whole household. But I'd best be quiet. I'd like to give you nightmares too, and I'm fair out a lot to help with the sleep. Turn the subject to the census. Grace has me gathering census pages for the ministry. Aye, Grace told me it was some such thing. Simply ask about his romantic commitments. Show some doubt. Continue being quite open. Let's ask. You don't look like your heart is gladdened by true love, but I might have missed the signs. Are you engaged? Promised? I wouldn't say it's gone quite that far. You can write down that I enjoy someone's company if you want to tell your employer such a thing. What about before Judgment Day? There was a lass back home, and what did me mother do but promise me to her? Encourage him to go on. Suggest he might prefer a more local alternative. Say nothing. That sounds like a tale. What happened? It's not so uncommon, I think. My mother was friends with this lass's parents. They were getting on in years, and her not married, and of course the whole village knew her business. So my mother said she'd fix it up between us next time I were around, but I've not been back since. Seemed to me I ought to wait till I was finished with my studies. Might have a better look to it. The question has stirred recollections he's not considered for a time. Is it bad to say I've not thought much of her since? She has very even teeth. My mother said overlapping teeth in a woman mean defiance, and gaps mean a light skirt. Laugh or keep my opinions to myself. I snicker. There's stranger theories I heard in the medical lecture of, and plenty of constables who thought we'd catch the criminals that road. Ask Archie about his work. Simply ask what he does for money. Is your income all from seeing patients these days? I did sell off a couple of my old atlases just today. Census maps sell for a good price if you know the right buyer. Ferret's vermin eradication takes in more than just rats. If I'd met the like of you in Scotland, I might never have come to London. Encourage Archie. Discourage this line overtly. Laugh at Archie. Decide to court Archie. Okay. Looks like that icon would be clothing. Or coat, specifically. Let's encourage him. So you're wishing you'd met a copy of me instead of myself. I'm devastated. Oh, you take the words away from me and wrestle them to mean something else. You know well enough what I'm saying. Let's review the day. It has been 259 days since the fall. It is the season of confessions. I have no pennies and 1 census page. It is currently evening. My goals are to deliver a filled census form to pages. I will conduct more census interviews. Tomorrow evening, Greece will take me to see pages. My acquaintances. Most of this we've already seen. I am Comrade George. I am a dock worker. I live in Chapman's boarding house, Thrall Street. I seek passionate romance. My relationship is with my witty and confiding self. My views on life in the Neath are still forming. On day minus 124, pre-fall, I moved into Chapman's. On day 150, in the false summer, I had spent 50 consecutive days in the attic. On day 220, season of confessions, I asked Greece to help me find work. Archibald Reid, seller of contraband goods to finance his medical charity. He boards with Horatia. His mom has a nice girl for him back home. He is a fellow lodger. Our relationship simmers pleasantly. Perhaps it could become something more. Day minus 1, pre-fall. I've only known Archie since shortly before the fall. On day 259, season of confessions. Today, Greece noticed a flirtation between me and Archie. I finished taking the census with Archie. I think Archie has feelings for me. Praise. Griselda Smith, a clerk at the ministry who boards with Horatia. Romantic interests? Unknown. She is an informant. We survived the fall together. That's sort of a bond. Day minus 15, pre-fall. She moved into Chapman's a short while before the fall. She wore gowns back then. Day 259, confessions. She came to ask about my progress on the census. I was able to show I'd at least read the questions. She noticed a flirtation between me and Archie. Harjeet Singh, constable. Household unknown. Romantic interests unknown. He is a constable. He is the one to ask whenever I get lost or think I might be going to get lost. Day 0, the middle of the apocalypse. I first remember Harjeet from the night of the fall when he was patrolling the neighborhood. Horatia Chapman. Occupation unknown. Household. She keeps Chapman's and all its lodgers. Romantic interests unknown. She is the landlady. I still owe her back rent. Day minus 124, pre-fall. I moved into Horatia's. She gave me a good room and a stern speech about conduct in her house. Day 0, the middle of the apocalypse. We lived through the night of the fall in Horatia's basement. She's looked after all her lodgers since. And looks like this is a conversation log here. Day 260. 13 days remain in the season of confessions. The newspapers aren't what they used to be, but someone is still printing broadsheets these days. Archie bought one, and the headlines read, Her Majesty's Palace shuttered. Royal family remains unreachable. Welcome to your attic. From here, you may explore the city, recall the past, change your outfit, and more as the story unfolds. The game will save each time you return here, indicated by this notification. Now, let's recall the past, relive the fall of London. I'm always reliving London's last night on the surface. I try to put it out of my head, but it's still there. The dimming of the sun at 3 in the afternoon. The sky turning the color of rust. The horrible bang, and the cloud of dust from the direction of Westminster. The tolling of the bells. The horseman who rode down the street, liveried in the garb of the palace, shouting, "In Her Majesty's name, go indoors!" And then the sky was full of bats, more bats than I thought could exist in the world. Wheeling, shrieking, defecating. People went indoors then if they ignored the cries. Those that had no house crowded into the churches and under the bridges. Even now, I don't understand how Her Majesty knew to send criers. The palace has been shuttered since that day. The royal family do not emerge. Surely, if they had known this was coming, they would have departed London. It was only the city that fell. The rest of England, we assume, remains above. I reckon it's a tornado. I've heard of something similar in the Welsh Hills back to 1760. A light in the sky, and a noise like a thunderclap. That's no tornado, love. It's a plague of Egypt. I let them talk. I intervened before they annoyed one another. I sent a pleading look at Greece. The newspapers will tell us in the morning what it was. Leastwise, it'll make a good story for the letters home. Glasgow will be envious of our London fashions. Then the ground shook again. I believe we can blame Mr. Bazalgette's excavations. Digging about under London, causing a seismic disturbance. And what did he find down there but a cave of 3 million bats? Is that what you reckon? There are stranger things beneath London. That was the beginning of it, but we were down there for hours and hours. The sky darkened, and it didn't return to normal. Once, around midnight, Grease went upstairs and opened the door to the street, but she came right back down again. She said the cobbles were galloping about. It wasn't safe to walk outside. After that first bit, the memories collide and get confused. I have trouble keeping track of which came first and which came later, and whether I'm imagining something. I've spent a lot of days like this, thinking back, trying to piece together the bits of the puzzle. As if I could realize something that would make sense of it all. Okay, change outfit. Do I have anything new? not. Time to head outside then. Okay, Thrall Street. Suppose that's where I am. Boarding house. That is where I am. Thrall Street, just outside my front door. Surely these are the same streets that were always here? I can take the census with Harjeet. The boarding house. Okay, let's start at home. Take the census with Grease. It's worth it to be mindful of how others will perceive me, what role I play, what I can and cannot say, is constrained by my clothes. This was true before the fall, but it's even truer now. Names, identities, and relationships have all become so unsteady and unreliable. Likes the sight of the badge. I'm satisfied with this. I thought you might still be in the house. Mr. Pages is not an early riser. In fact, he was very put out when I came to the ministry in the morning. The badge makes it clear that I'm here for business, not for conversation. I thought I might finish your census form. Mr. Pages already knows all about me, but I suppose it is good practice. Simply ask about her romantic commitments. Try to establish some trust. Use the question as a chance to flirt. I have heard all sorts of stories, so I doubt you will shock me. I see. The ministry would like to know about any betrothals, marriages, or affairs of passion. Are there any in your past? Please, be thorough. Kreese laughs. I was engaged once. The gentleman wanted a gracious hostess and a mother to his heirs. A very eligible alliance, according to my parents. Ask why she ever agreed to the engagement. Ask how she broke it off. Sympathize. Let the subject drop. So you ended the engagement? I left both the gentleman and my family. That is when I came to Horatia's. Even before the fall, Mrs. Chapman's boarding house attracted those that didn't belong anywhere else. A lady like Grease could not have lived alone at the most respectable establishments, and she would scarcely have cared for the cheaper, common lodging places. Why did you accept the proposal in the first place, then? I could have set him on a political life. She looks as though she might say more, but she thinks better of it. The conversation turns to personal matters and the things we still don't know about one another. If you could be rid of one danger from all the dangers the Neath holds, which would you strike out? Danger of never seeing the sun again. The risk, or, I fear, reality, of never seeing the sun. You share Archie's dread of scurvy? People weren't meant to live in this fashion. I fear fresh disasters. The ones already past, perhaps I simply digest them. I wish Grease a good morning. If you want company, you're always welcome to pay a call. If we can use the term. Morning calls in our own parlor. It's not quite clear who should leave their card with whom. All the same, I welcome companionship. I would like that. I was used to a townhouse full of family and servants before I came here, and guests to dinner most nights of the week. The season would be starting now or hereabout. Of course, no one now can come up from their estates. It will be a pleasure. I can manage just one more errand today before supper. Just outside my front door, surely these are the same streets that were always here. Let's take the census with Harjeet. Harjeet admires duty, but does not always care for the ministry. It's hard to say what impression the badge makes on him. I think I'm satisfied with this. The streets outside Mrs. Chapman's are not easy. Thanks to my family history, I know where to find the immigrant neighborhoods of London. New location discovered. Tenterground Synagogue. An old synagogue, and one that has weathered the fall very well. But whenever I need to find more of them, it's always Harjeet who helps me. I have something for you if you want it. He produces a nearly new admiral's hat, in perfectly good condition. I found it near the docks. No sign of the owner, and I can't wear it myself. Thought someone at Mrs. Chapman's might get use out of it. Perhaps Lady Griselda. Admiral's hat. Trimmed with gold braid. Makes a person look like a respectable representative of the Navy. Wearing it gives me a commanding, if slightly curmudgeonly, presence. Clothes make an impression on other people when I wear them. They make an impression on me, too. Sometimes I'm inspired to say things I wouldn't otherwise. I have the feeling this particular hat would make me a bit gruff and commanding. Put it on my head and consider what to say. Rather graciously influenced by the hat, take the hat off again. Try the lapel flower instead of the badge. There's always a bit of extra drama when I have this on. Thank him profusely. Be dramatically grateful, influenced by hat and pin. Take the hat off again. Lose the lapel flower. Oh, very good of you. What a thoughtful gift. It's so cold down here, and clothes wear out quickly. Harjeet laughs. I wonder. Okay, I cannot change here without a dialogue option allowing it. Explain that I'm working for the Ministry on the census. Establish my authority with the census. Simply state that I have questions. I don't have my badge with me, but I'm collecting census information for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. I see. London was determined to collect everyone's name even before the fall. Ask whether his answers have changed. Agree it's a peculiarity of the English. Say the information is needed for planning. It is a peculiarity of the English. You aren't the only ones to ever to count your citizens. What do you wish to know? Simply ask about Harjeet's question. Use the question as a chance to flirt. Ask using the exact wording of the original census question. How many people live in your establishmentation? Or establishmentation. Yes, that is definitely pages. Harjeet lets out a surprised laugh. Well, I live alone for the moment. I recognize an evasion. Harjeet is not the kind of person who would tell me bluntly to mind my own business. But he won't say more than he thinks I have reason to know. Still, that is enough information for the purposes of the census. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? Harjeet lets out a startled laugh. In love. I have met matchmakers before, but not in London. Are all practitioners here equally unsubtle? Invent a fabulous tale of my reliability in all matters. Demand Harjeet tell me. Stand closer to Harjeet and ask again. And I thought you were getting to trust me. Harjeet hesitates. I rely on your discretion. This is not a matter I would explain to most people. You and I have known one another for some time, however. I think you would hear me out kindly, but if you would rather not carry my secrets... Assure Harjeet I will keep his confidence, whatever it is. Decline from a dislike of other people's secrets. Decline lest the Ministry learn too much. At the moment, what you tell me, you tell the Ministry. So perhaps it is better that I not know. unless he would equally confide in Mr. Page's. An honorable answer. It's best not to promise what you can't be sure at